Iranian president dies in a chopper crash as tea growers get hope from government through Minister for ICT Bariomonsi. A very good afternoon to you tuned into UBC TV. A warm welcome to our lunchtime news. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa, this Monday, the 20th of May, 2024. Now, in a first story, the world woke to shock last night after Iranian President Raisi got killed in a helicopter crash near Iran's border with Azerbaijan. Search and rescue teams have recorded bodies from the wreckage, and they say there were no survivors. Contact had been lost with the aircraft on Sunday as it navigated fog-covered mountains in northwest Iran. Foreign Affairs Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian was also among those killed. The governor of Iran's East Azerbaijan province and other officials and bodyguards were also named by local media as among the dead. A total of 9 people were on board the aircraft, according to Tasmin news agency in Iran. Iran's Vice President Mohammad Mokbar is expected to become the country's interim president, who will help organize a presidential election that should take place within 50 days of the president's death. World leaders, including China's Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan have all offered condolences to Iran on the death of the 63-year-old leader, hardline cleric who became Iran's president in June 2021. Now, the deceased president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, did undertake a diplomatic tour in Africa in July 2023 with the objective of strengthening relations between Iran and various African countries. As part of his tour, President Raisi made his inaugural official visit to Uganda on the 12th of July 2023, where he received a warm welcome from His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda, at State House Entebbe. The primary focus of the two-day state visit was to explore potential avenues of collaboration and enhance bilateral ties between Iran and Uganda. During the visit, both heads of state signed 4 memoranda of understanding, further solidifying the commitment to cooperation between the two nations.
The President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ebrahim Raisi, is currently visiting Uganda for a two-day state visit with a focus on expanding cooperation in political, economic, scientific and technological fields. During his visit, he emphasized the importance of sharing experiences in areas of economics, science, technology, technical and engineering services, as well as oil exploration and refinery to enhance trade between the two countries.
As you can see here, the climate is very good. There is nothing on earth we cannot produce. And we have a lot of food, a lot of milk, a lot of bananas, a lot of maize, a lot of coffee, tea, cocoa, fish from that big lake you see is a freshwater lake. So really we can do a lot of trade together. We always have the problem of markets.
Through our mutual and joint bilateral discussions, we realized the will and determination in both sides regarding the necessity of expanding our bilateral relations. And in this regard, I believe that both sides should take effective steps.
He also highlighted the need for the two countries to embrace value addition to their resources rather than selling them in raw form to generate more financial benefits. Additionally, the president mentioned that Iran produces its pharmaceutical needs domestically, offering an opportunity for Uganda to gain expertise in this sector.
More than 95% of our domestic needs are produced inside the country, and at the same time we are exporting pharmaceuticals to other countries. Regarding the medical equipment, we are producing all the surgery sets needed for the operation room for surgery. And of course, this is done by the Iranian scientists and through the knowledge-based companies.
So we'll be very happy to cooperate with Iran in those areas. And on what he mentioned, the pathogenic industry, the disease for vaccines, medicines, and so on.
It should be noted, however, that President Ebrahim Raisi condemned homosexuality and flagged it as an act against the nature of human beings. Uganda, on the other hand, criminalized homosexuality and remained opposed to it.
We have cooperation for Iran and Uganda. The Western countries try to identify homosexuality as an index of civilization, while this is one of the dirtiest issues and one of the dirtiest things which have been done during the history, and they are strongly attacking against the basis of families and culture of the nation.
Raisi expressed his commitment to joining Uganda in its fight against extremism and terrorism while upholding fundamental human rights.
Iran is one of the flag holders of defending the human rights, and the Western countries who are claimants of defending the human rights, in fact, they are violating the human rights. So I believe that we should ensure mutual cooperation on this issue as well.
That's a recap of a brief look at what happened, transpired in Uganda when President Raisi, now the late, visited in July 2023. In a subsequent bulletin, we'll give it a bigger look at his death and the time he visited Uganda. Moving on, government is working towards addressing the plight of tea farmers in the country. Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Bariomunsi, attributes the fluctuating prices to the war between Russia and Ukraine that he says has reduced market for tea products. He appeals to farmers to be patient as government moves towards finding a lasting remedy to tea farming challenges in the whole country.
The prices of tea failed largely due to external factors, particularly the war between Russia and Ukraine and some of the countries that consume our tea facing economic crisis. But also there has been an issue with the quality of tea, the way it is picked in the parts of Uganda. So a combination of all those factors led to the challenge with the tea sector, but we have discussed this issue as government in the cabinet and come up with a number of measures that we are going to put in place to ensure that we address this issue of the tea crisis. Namely, we are going to support the industries, the factories that process this tea by way of enabling them to access cheap loans to sustain them, because some of them have debts which are not sustainable. But also we have declared all these areas where the factories are as economic free zones so that we can waive off a number of taxes in order to enable them to operate. We also agreed to provide fertilizer at a subsidized arrangement so that all the farmers can access free fertilizer in the beginning, but then later on a subsidized arrangement. And we also agreed that we are going to put a local market here instead of the Mombasa stock market. We shift it to Kampala. So there are a number of measures which we have put in place, and that's why I was speaking to Christians here who are many involved in tea farming, that they should be patient, that the government is aware of all these challenges facing the tea sector, and that we are doing everything possible to restore a normal situation.
That's the Honorable Chris Baryomonsi talking about the issues to do with tea farmers in Uganda. Lango Parliamentary Chairperson Judith Aliek has called on religious leaders to join the fight against poverty, integrating teachings on wealth creation into their sermons. Aliek wants church leaders to be enabled with transformation tools to empower their weekly congregants.
Yeah, let him explain.
Many families, especially in the rural areas, still remain deprived and languishing in poverty. In 2019-2020 household survey, UBOS indicated that about 8 million Ugandans were poor. The poverty index was measured according to one's income.
You know, people are in different groups, and poverty does not spare any group in the community. So what we are doing now, today, me in particular, I've thought of calling, and bringing on board the church leaders and the Christians of different denominations, because I know through church they can work very hard in order to fight poverty. That means we have to make people improve on their livelihoods by working hard.
Lango Parliamentary Group Chairperson wants the clergy to include teachings on wealth creation in their weekly gospel.
The church leadership should take it up that the flock that they lead should not be poor people. They should be hard-working people. Whatever project that comes to the church, they have to embrace all of them, irrespective of the sources where these projects are coming from. Whether government or non-governmental organizations, they will have to come in to talk to the people that they lead.
Aliek was speaking during a capacity building training in Kwale District by African Church Aid, empowering church leaders with the skills to enhance local community livelihoods.
So we find leaders that have a lot of knowledge and are generous to share that knowledge. Africa is good at everything else. We've seen so much generosity to so many, but we don't see a lot of sharing of knowledge. That's going to take a cultural shift. If you have knowledge, if you have the best poultry, you need to train 12 others. That's what we're also emphasizing a lot in all of our training.
Church leaders believe the initiative could change the livelihoods of worshippers.
This training can help our church not to backslide.
And we have also gotten training on how to handle our families, how we can train our children, and steps that we can go through as Christians to help us have a lively church.
Without work, even if you pray, you will not succeed.
African Church Aid operates across Africa to strengthen churches and transform vulnerable communities through various projects. They share love and support through water projects, agricultural initiatives, income-generating programs, schools, and Bible training. Edi Olwa, UBC News.
UBC Lunchtime News. The chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Mariam Wangadia, has met former FDC President Dr. Kizza Besigye and NUP President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. The meeting was a follow-up on the petitions the two politicians filed over different cases.
It's a continuation of our Kampala session, starting today. It will last 3 days. We have a total of 16 complaints, and to us, every complainant, every person who comes before our court is equal. Yes, I think Article 21 talks about equal protection of the law, Article 21 of the Constitution. So 16 complaints we are hearing this session. There is one case which was brought by Colonel Retired Dr. Kizza Besigye, and it is at defense level. The Attorney General brought one witness who testified today. Dr. Besigye's lawyer, Honorable, his worship the Mayor, Lord Mayor, Honorable Elias Lukwago, was unable to come today. Dr. Besigye told us that he's unwell. So that case was heard. The defense witness testified, and at the next session, he will be cross-examined. The case brought by Honorable Kyagulanyi did not proceed the way we expected. At the commencement of hearing his case, his lawyers said he had a personal statement to make and to be delivered personally, which sounded a little bit queer because they are representing him. So we inquired from them whether this personal statement, as they called it, has any connection with the case before us. And the answer we got was non-committal. However, we let him present his statement.
A case on December 17th over the violation of my rights, my right to earn a living, cancelling more than 20 of my shows, but they went ahead to cancel even many more after we filed the complaint. The complaint has never been heard. They've never given us a hearing. We complained about the enforced disappearances, but Madam Wangadia herself came out and said that the people whose families, whose spouses were demanding for are non-existent. She said they are Chiwani, you know. And today when I was making my personal statement,
that was at the meeting with the Human Rights Commission. We thank you so much for watching. Let's take a short break. Keep it with us.
Uganda's biggest tourism and travel trade show of the year is here again. The 8th edition of the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo Poate 2024 under the theme Responsible Tourism will be taking place at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, from the 23rd to the 25th of May 2024. It's your chance to connect with tourism and travel professionals from across the globe. Discover travel holiday deals, packages, and so much more. Visit www.poate.co.ug to register and be part of the event. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo Poate is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board.
Fellow countrymen and women, especially the Bazukuru, as we work towards realizing Uganda's Vision 2040, it is important that we plan based on accurate information about our people and our resources. I therefore would like to announce the 6th National Population and Housing Census that will start on the 10th of May 2024. The information from the National Population and Housing Census will support government, the private sector, cultural and religious institutions, civil society, and development partners in service delivery. It will also provide the basis for planning the provision of social services such as education, health, and transport, among many others, at the national and local levels. When data collectors or enumerators come to your home during the census, please avail yourselves and provide them with honest answers to their questions. This is in order to enable them process the most accurate information about you, your household, institutions, and community. I therefore call upon all political, cultural, and religious leaders, private sector players, civil society, the media, and the institutions of the government to support this key national program. The successful execution of this census will influence the well-being of all Ugandans and progress the country towards the desired socio-economic transformation. I wish you all a successful census for God and my country.
UBC Lunchtime News. Local government leaders in refugee hosting districts of West Nile are calling upon donors to support refugee response in Uganda as there is increased need for humanitarian interventions. This as a result of fears created by the need for self-reliance among refugees, as many are now under Category 3 of food prioritization, where a refugee does not get food assistance. They made the appeal during closure of livelihood project funded by German Federal Foreign Office to Norwegian Refugee Council. According to the 2023 fact sheet by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, Uganda is hosting over 1.56 million refugees, with West Nile hosting over 740,000 of them.
We still need a lot because more refugees are coming. And the land is not increasing, land is now a fixed asset. If these more refugees who are coming and there's no food, some of them have died. I am a landlord in Ivepi myself. There are refugees who are settled even on our compound. Because of this, because of food cut, they wanted to repatriate voluntarily to go back to South Sudan. But the challenge is when you reach there, you are killed. And those who wanted to go are even coming back.
We want to say, as local government, we always feel encouraged when partners come to support us, particularly in livelihood. We are not seeing the current trend ending now, where we continue to have new entrants every month.
The German Federal Foreign Office project, this GFFO project, which has been operational here in West Nile for the past 4 years, has made great strides in addressing the unique needs of both refugees and host communities through what we can call NRC's comprehensive community-based approach. So because of this project, when we brought a synergy between the provision of legal services and also the provision of land, we have seen really a lot of development, and we have seen these refugees become self-sustainable.
Aware of the fact that most of the refugees are now under a category, the one we call category 3 of not receiving food ration. And even those who are on food, the food ration that is given is not enough. So this project has helped the refugees to become self-reliant and also to use the land that is given to them for agriculture. And we look forward to more grant by the donors such that these projects can continue.
In the world of sport, State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang launched and handed over to the Cricket Cranes Uganda's cricket tournament jersey for the 2024 ICC T20 Men's World Cup in West Indies and USA last evening at the team's send-off dinner. The Cricket Cranes Uganda's senior men's cricket team will play for the first time at the T20 World Cup this June.
The Cranes send-off dinner held at Misil Hotel in Nsambya last evening was graced by the State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, who launched the Uganda T20 World Cup jersey as he echoed government's commitment to support the team and welcomed Laika Mobile on board.
On behalf of the government of Uganda, on behalf of the Minister of Education and Sports, who is the First Lady, I want to take this opportunity to officially hand over the Ugandan jersey, which is going to be used the Cricket World Cup in West Indies and USA. I want to promise that we are working around the corner to make sure that we facilitate the national cricket team to participate in the World Cup because it's the role of government. I want to remind you and reiterate our commitment to develop cricket. Number one, we have secured the land, which is in Chambo University. Number two, we are going to increase the budget from 1.2 billion to 3 billion. Number three, we are now looking for resources to support and fund our national cricket team to go and play for the World Cup in West Indies. The others, I have challenged the players, you underdogs, go and show yourselves and prove yourself. For the people like my brother here, the moment of truth has come for him to conquer the world as a certified hustler like the minister who is before you here. You lose nothing, you go there to show the world that God gave you one thing, is a talent. I want to welcome Laika Mobile. I don't know how much you can appreciate you. You have come and you're changing the game of cricket in Uganda. I want to pledge on behalf of the government, we will work with you.
Leica Mobile, who are the title partners for the senior cricket teams, reiterated their support for the cricket cranes as they head into the World Cup.
The Uganda cricket team has created a milestone. This qualifying for the World Cup and going for the World Cup is something which I really would like to appreciate each one of you who's sitting in this room for having put in your best and reached this level. Cricket is considered as a game of luck. However, when you look at the sport, it is the passion that drives the sport. So I think each one of you, having reached this stage, have that passion inside you to do whatever is required to get the best out of the cricket. And you are going to a forum where you will be recognized as a successful team, having touched that pinnacle for the first time.
The Cricket Cranes team will be taking part in the T20 World Cup for the very first time, and they are in Group C with New Zealand, Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea and hosts West Indies. The team will bowl off their campaign against Afghanistan on 3rd June, but before the main event, the team will have trial games against Namibia and Scotland, respectively. Grace Joyce Kemigisa, UBC News.
We thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you this lunchtime. But of course, TV newsroom is at work. We'll have more bulletins in Luganda, Kiswahili, and I'll be here myself for news tonight. So you have all the reasons to keep it with us. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Have a nice week. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.